Alrighty. Move this a little bit so you see more of me. Alright. Hello everyone. Welcome to another rendition of Mini Paint and Chill with me, your host Wheeler, as always. Also welcome to Wheeler's Minis, my channel, business, website extravaganza. Thanks for joining today. I really appreciate it. We're going to just be painting for the next couple hours. I got a new guy that I'm going to be working on, this Unchained Commander, which I'm super excited about. Before we get started, just a few quick things to get out of the way. One, if you aren't already following the channel, please do. If you have the financial ability to, please consider subscribing. Don't forget that if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe for free once each month with your Twitch Prime subscription. I'd appreciate it if that was us, or me, rather. I'm doing a giveaway right now. I don't have the link up in chat, but if you go to my pretty much any of my socials, it'll be up on there. Giving away some Fnatic starter sets. Rules are on there, limiting it to the US. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, hi YouTube. Thanks for coming around and hanging out. Appreciate it. But yeah, that's what I'm working on today. And I think other than that, I'm good. I don't have anything else to say. If you follow me on my socials, that would be awesome. I am going to be doing a sale once I hit 100 followers on Instagram. So if that's of interest to you, please go there and support me there as well. But other than that, I think that's it. So we can go ahead and get started with painting. I've got a couple guys that I could work on, but I printed this guy out and I was super excited to work on him. So we're going to be working on this guy. I'm not 100% certain what color I want the cloak to be yet. Probably red, because that's always a good color. And then probably going to be mostly sticking with silver-ish metals for the metal bits, including his sword, which is kind of warped. I don't know how that happened. And then probably just your standard skin tone. He's got a cloak around. I'll probably do like a brown or a dark brown or a gray or black. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. So start with red. I'm going to do this guy a little bit differently than I usually do things, which is to say I'm going to start with the base coat rather than doing a speed paint up front. We're going to do this as long as Twitch decides to, or rather OBS decides to allow me to. Oh, is Wyvern... Wait, why is it... That's the darkest... Actually, I want to... I think I want to do a cool red. This guy. It's okay, I'll figure out something to use that red for. Start with a bit of a deeper red. Let me know if the audio is working, because I remember I set up a noise gate last time, but it wasn't really doing what it needed to. So we'll see what it does. Actually, I could probably start with a larger brush too. Use some of the brushes that I have that I haven't been able to use yet. Three. I'm gonna use one. I think I want a two. That's a three. again, if you haven't seen my video on brushes, the Chronicle Cards brushes they're not the best sable brushes. They don't hold a tip very well. But they are good beginner ones, and they're relatively cheaper than most sable brushes are going to be. So yeah, we're going to start with this red on the cloak and then just kind of work our way up from that. Not too worried about getting paint on the rest of the model because I am going to go back over all of the parts that need different colors. So if I get a little bit on some spaces, I'm not super concerned about it. It matters more when I start to get into the details and making sure that colors are where they're supposed to be. So. Also, if you're following along and doing colors, I'm using Basilisk Red currently. It is a little bit brighter on the model. Than I was expecting, but I think it dries a little bit darker. I like the color so far, though. It's unfortunate that most like commander models, like red is a very general like color. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it historically, but it's just sometimes I wish there were different colors that looked good on models, but I just think the red's gonna look really good on this one. And mixed with like a black fur, I think is gonna look really good. But we'll see if I change my mind on that, because maybe like a golden brown fur might look better. But I feel like white furs and brown furs go better with blue cloaks than they do red. But I don't know, we'll see. And then for his like his regular tunic color, it's got to match the color scheme. Yellow goes really good with red. But I don't think I want yellow for this guy. Black goes really good with red. Let's see. I think we'll go with black. Seems to be the consensus that black goes really well, which it already is black, but I'm going to add some of the actual black to it. Yo, what's up, Billy? Sorry I'm not on camera right now. I'm looking up inspiration for something, but I think I got it. Trying to figure out what best color to go with this, but I think like a deep brown is going to be the best, especially since I'm doing black on this part right here. So we'll go for a ruddy brown. What's been going on though? I've been seeing your streams pop up for me pretty consistently. I just have been so freaking busy. I haven't been able to stop by anyone's. Soon it's starting to get a little messy. Just getting the base coat down, and then we can really start to work on the details of this guy after this gets done. But I just want to make sure there's proper color where there needs to be. Actually, I think this brown's going to work out really well for what I want from this model. I've been watching a lot of videos from YouTubers that I love the work that they do for miniatures and things like that. It's got me really in the mood to want to paint, so too watery. Trip last week that we were supposed to go on, but it got canceled because of all the weather stuff that's been happening down south, so gave me some time to rest and relax and really get my chops up on watching some videos that I've been meaning to watch about upgrading my craft and being better, which again in turn has made me just really want to get back into painting more, because the only way to get better is by doing it. So what we'll probably do is once all this is dry, we'll come back over it after we get a good base coat. We'll come back over it and do a shade run and get just the proper shades on here and shadows, just to really bring back some of the recesses in here that I'm just kind of getting with the base coat. So I don't know if it's doing the thing where it's making me repeat myself over and over and over again and being weird. And I know Rose said that that was happening last time. Don't know what's been going on. I don't know if it's just the internet here is starting to suck, or if it's specifically my stuff. Not 100% certain, but figure it out. Make it work the best we can. Pretty much got color on all of it. Just going back and applying anything that may not have the best coat on it. I did pretty good at hitting all the pieces that I needed to hit. This is where I'd like to get a bit of a smaller brush in. Grab a new 0, because this one's starting to kind of bite the dust when it comes to not even keeping a tip, just having a tip. Hair coming out of it before I even did anything to it. Alright, the black's done. Get some plate mail on there. But I think I want to do the skin first. Alright, I think we're looking for a rosy skin tone. And we'll start high, because I think it's going to be a bit of a brighter skin. So for those who are following along again with color, I've used Basilisk Red and Ancient Tree, I think is what it's called. Tree Ancient. Close enough. And just the matte black that they have. And now I'm using one of the mid rosy skin tones, which is Barbarian Flesh. And the only reason I'm starting darker is because I'm going to highlight. So I want to make sure that the highlight has a chance to really shine through by starting with a bit of a deeper tone. It's still going to be bright, like it is still a brighter flesh tone, but it will be darker than the final product is going to be. And this is barbarian flesh. So I don't think that these colors are in the starter set. No, actually. The black is, and one of the metallics that I'll be using also is a part of the starter set. Yeah, like what I've really started to notice about the Chronicle Cards brushes is that the bigger brushes, A+, but the smaller brushes are not as good a quality. Like, this is my first time using this one and it's already splitting, which is not great, but it will do for what I'm using it for today. Feeling that he might have had some printing issues when I printed him. He honestly looks fine, but there's just some parts of him that I'm like, less likely to think that the print went through perfectly. just getting color as a base. I gotta figure out which color would be best for blonde-ish hair. Try the space dust. Space dust actually worked fairly well for it. Again, pretty good for base tones so far. Now we get to the fun stuff, which is metallics. And then as soon as this is done, we should be good to start working on shading. didn't see it when I first started painting, but he is wearing breeches behind some of the metal bits. Which I'll probably, again, just continue to stick with that black for that. Just to make it easier on myself. But also just not to overcomplicate the color scheme. Took some ashwagandha root earlier this morning, something that my wife wanted to try to help with just general stress levels and things like that. And boy howdy, has it made me uber relaxed. I have been just completely and utterly relaxed all day. super, super nice. It's also been making it nice because that means that more often than not, not as shaky as I normally am, which is very nice. Especially for getting some more of the detail work of this stuff done. Normally I'm not one for just the good old blue-haired blonde eye, or Jesus, I did that backwards. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed character, but with the way that this guy was made and how he was sculpted, it just kind of felt like that's what they wanted it to be. If I do this again, I'll probably change up the color scheme a little bit. I'm always about challenging myself and doing things that I'm not used to. And color schemes that are different than what I normally would put on them falls in that category. Like I might do one that has a blue cloak instead of a red cloak with white fur or black fur. That's when it starts dropping. Hopefully it doesn't do that too much. Again, it's been being funky recently. One of the things I'm hoping gets fixed with the move is the internet's stopping acting up so much. Looks like he's got a bit of a belt too, so we might do... darker leather bits on that. To start off the deep brown on the leather belt, I'm just doing the tree ancient so that it matches. When I come back over it and do the actual leather color, I'll go to like the leather brown as the highlight for it. That way it's got a through line for the color scheme while not adding too much of a different tonality. Alright, I think he's got base coat on pretty much everything. Alrighty. So for pretty much everything on the front end, we're going to be doing all the metal bits at least. We're going to be doing dark tone, or like an oil. Decent amount of that, and then the skin tone we'll be doing a flesh tone. I'll find a speed paint that fits best for the color scheme or matches that color very well, and then that's the red contrast slash shade we'll be doing. Dry brushing is one of my favorite parts if you've watched me long enough, but I also do love putting dark shade on metal. It just really makes it pop in such a nice way. And I've started using it for leather too, because leather is also oiled, especially like good leather that's made properly. So giving it some of the same vibe as oiled metal really helps it just match with the rest of the ensemble. But also, in my opinion, just gives it a better look. It really depends on what leather I'm using. For rather what the color scheme of the model is, because if it's a more brownish model, then I'll just do like an earth shade or a strong shade. But when it's something like this that already has so much darkness on it, I'll use a strong shade. It's for fun. And just to help it match everything. Alright, and then... oh, goodness. I don't know if I've used the strong skin shade yet. But we're gonna do this for the hair and the arms. At first I thought there was a soft skin shade, but I guess I was wrong. Just getting this pretty much everywhere where there's skin. And again, this is why I started with a little bit. I know it looks light, but this is why I started with a bit of a darker skin tone, because I knew as soon as the shade hit it, it was going to drastically change the look of it. And I wanted to make sure that I had a good base down for when I come back over and highlight things. And that's a little bit too much. Grab, put in other places. Yeah, luckily because I had more of the face that I needed to cover. Could pull some of that, but even if there's still too much, you can always just dry off the brush and kind of soak it out where it's not supposed to be. Alright, and then for the fur lining, we're going to do ruddy fur. Again, same thing. If there's too much, just make sure that if you don't hit everything, you just go back to that original spot where you started. And then you can kind of come back over, grab some more on the brush, and then maneuver it around. That way nothing's really going to waste. And if there's nothing left to put it on, then again, you can just dry your brush off and soak it up and then take it off the model. Yeah. Oh, my butt. Alright, and then the last part is the cloak. For that, before I get started on it, I am going to take a quick drink of water. Dang, I did it again. Down a little bit, so I'm a little bit closer. Alright, slaughter is going to be too warm. Murder scene actually might be the right color. Excuse me. Oh yeah, perfect. Because it's not. A little bit older. Starting to dry in there. It's all weird. That's what I mean. Sometimes the brushes do not like working with you the way that you want them to. Can't see it pulling it off already. Alright, and then we'll give that a little bit of time to dry. I can continue working on them. Oh. Oh. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys being here. Hope you've enjoyed so far. This guy's been pretty fun to paint so far, which has been fun. Always nice when the thing that you're doing is actually fun. But yeah, we'll see where this continues till. Brush to get in on some of these details. What I'll probably do too is I'll mix some of the black with the red to do the highlights of this. That way it matches the color scheme. But yeah. It's looking pretty good. What I can do is work on the base though. Really need to get some more technical paints. For basing. All I have right now is water texture and sand, like desert. And unfortunately, not everything that I paint is in those areas. Looks like we got some bony texture on there too, which is not a ruddy brown, if I'm not mistaken. Correct. It's a neutral. Displays. Light neutrals. Don't need that much. That's fine. Even still, the fact that it's this liquid and still got a good amount of pigment in it. I really love these paints. I'm so glad I picked them up. It's also why I'm doing the giveaway, because like I think everyone should have access to these, and hopefully it's going to some 3 people who don't have the financial ability to grab them, and do giveaways giving them an opportunity to get some new paints. Wait on the cloak, since it seems like it's already still a little wet, but I will start to work on the highlights for his Whoa. Still got some time, which is good. Let me see if there's any other. I'm gonna throw with the highest one. Gunmetal is pretty dark compared to black. Actually, pretty comparable. That metal's really dark. So I guess what we'll do is we'll just take some of the same metallic and just hit up some of the edges. I'm gonna do some shining silver. Oh, for edge highlighting.
boy, can I borrow your Dreamer?
Yeah,
Wait,
it'll be right to my left.
I'm trying to. Have a battery in it? Nice! Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mini painting, so chill. Ooh, this is not the bit I need on it. Where's that other one?
Which bit do you need?
The like, it's like a cylinder that has like a light grit to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the one you're looking for. Hold on.
Sorry.
To be honest with you, I don't know if I know where that one is.
Well, there was one before.
Yeah, and then I switched it out for the.
Where would you have put it?
It might be in the tool bag.
Oh no.
Did you find it?
I think so. I just step on a screwdriver.
Ow.
Follow with issue. I don't know how to get this off. I'm so sorry.
Give me 1 second.
I'll put it back in.
Okay.
Just hold the lock button when I do it.
Yes. Well, yes. brown's the mid-tone for this one. Yeah, do bootstrap. Oh. He's looking pretty good. I'm really happy with the work that I've done on it so far. We might not finish him today, actually, now that I think about it. We're at, yeah, we only got like, Jesus, time flies. We got like 10 minutes left. Woof. So we'll get done as much as we can. And I might finish him up on Thursday. For this is just going back over, get some color, back on while still keeping that kind of dark color in the recesses, but getting some of the base red back in. Really starting to get into the vibe of painting cloaks and things like that with some more intense color shift. Especially when you get down to stuff like this too, it helps when you're keeping the same kind of stroke with the brush to ensure that you are not in any way changing the texture of the model with your brush techniques. So especially with these, you'll always, like at this point, you'll always see me pulling down the model to help reinforce that kind of natural movement that a cloak like this would have. And then when I come back to finish this, we'll start doing brighter colors and brighter colors and brighter colors, and hopefully get it to a point where it looks good. Not that it doesn't already have at least some semblance of looking good, but yeah, really just reinforcing these colors. Miss anything on the cloak itself, but as it develops in higher and higher colors, it'll start to take on a look of what a natural cloak would look like if it had that kind of ruffle in it with the light on it. So super excited about that. I think the last thing that we'll do today on him is get some higher colors on the fur cloak. And for this, normally I would dry brush, but again, because I'm kind of challenging myself to be better at my craft, we're just going to do a bunch of very tiny tiny lines and things like that. similar to the cloak, you're just going to want to go with the already naturally occurring movement, especially with fur. You're just gonna want to go with the way that the fur is naturally moving on the model. Obviously, not all miniature models are going to have this level of detail, but there should at least be some semblance of an idea on the model of which way certain things are moving. And especially when it comes to naturally occurring substances like this, like fur, you really just want to go with the flow. So like I said, we're not going to do too much on this. We're just going to get some kind of lines on here to help brighten up the cloak. And kind of similar to the red part of the cloak, once we start getting brighter and brighter tones on here, you'll start to really see the fur start to like shine through, which will be a lot of fun and hopefully will look good. And at this step, if you feel like it's getting too bright, what you can do is you can either strip the paint and start over, or you can go back over it with your shade. Darken it up a little bit and then work from there. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. Or just re-base coat it and then go back over it again. But yeah. Got about 2 minutes left. That'll give me enough time to close out. So I think that's what we'll finish with him today. And we'll come back to him on Thursday. But if you're interested in the paints I've been using, I do have a giveaway going on right now, which if you go to any of my socials, you'll be able to find. I'm really happy with how this guy's turned out so far. He's looking really good. The red cloak's going to look really good. But thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate it. Feels good to get back in the chair and paint a little bit. But yeah, like I said, I've got the giveaway going on. Follow me on my socials for any updates on that. It's going until June 31st. Winners will be picked July 31st. I'm trying to stay within the realm of the US for shipping stuff, but it's completely free to sign up. Don't need anything. You get entries for following me on things. I'll be doing a sale once I hit 100 followers on my Instagram. So if you see anything on the website that you like, this guy will be up on the website when he's done as well. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Before we go, if you haven't already followed the channel, please do. We're like one below 250. If you have the financial ability to, I'd really appreciate you subscribing. Or you can support me by buying my minis. And yeah. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. VOD will be up hopefully sooner rather than later. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a great night, and I will see you all on Thursday for the next rendition and finishing this lovely little commander guy up. So thanks. I appreciate it, guys. Again, have a good night. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.